Hello, my dear viewers. Today is March 2nd. We have our traditional review of events on the fronts of the Ukrainian war. We also begin it traditionally with the Avdiivka sector, where fierce battles continue unceasingly to the west of Avdiivka, northwest of Avdiivka. The enemy, clearly comprehending the entire threat to his front in this sector, understanding that without serious countermeasures it is impossible to address the problem of the further advance of Russian troops, has thrown the next reserves at our storming units. That is, in fact, the Berdichi line. Orlovka is thin. The enemy tries to hold it through all viable methods, even having lost settlements, trying to rely on natural obstacles such as the river and a network of ponds, and also tries to counterattack with those reserves that we have long noticed as concentrating. Well, it was assumed that he would use them to reinforce the new line of defense, but they were thrown into battle. Over the course of yesterday, up to 10 enemy counterattacks were carried out in the area. In the Berdichi area, the clear goal is to exhaust our assault units, deprive them of their offensive potential, and thus slow down further advance. I do not think the enemy seriously believes he will be able to hold the front line of Berdichi, a thin Orlovka. Most likely the task is to bleed out our assault units to gradually stabilize the front, even if slightly west of the indicated line. He failed to achieve success. Our air force and artillery are very densely working, and it's clear that under such conditions assault operations are very challenging. While there is a counter battle going on here, but I repeat, it is in fact a normal situation. On the whole, the enemy attempted to force the battle under such conditions several times. Each time on this sector he lost it and suffered heavy losses. I really hope that this time it will be the same, although again this is a very tough situation for everyone, and the enemy is exerting all his strength, while our troops are trying to hold the line while preparing for offensive operations. It's a similar situation, but slightly different. A reflection of this is happening now in the Artyomovsk direction, or rather the Chasov Yarsky direction. Remember, the enemy started a few days ago attacking actions. He tried to hold our troops in the Ivanovskoye area with counterattacks, tried to initiate counterattacks. Through reserves there, his counterattacks choked. Yesterday, the enemy officially admitted the loss of most of Ivanovskoye, and also according to the data that our troops received. Besides occupying a significant part of Ivanovskoye, they are still trying to climb the hills north of this settlement and achieved some small tactical successes, minor advances of a few hundred meters. But in reality, it's very costly. Taking this hill is the key to defending the eastern part of Chasov Yar. If we manage to get there, to hold on, if we manage to establish ourselves there, well, it means that here the enemy's defense will be breached and he will have no chance of. There will be little time left for them to hold it. For this very reason, the enemy is desperately trying to hold these lines, counterattacking. But let me repeat, the situation here is basically like a mirror image. Having repelled the counterattacks of the enemy, our assault groups are beginning to capitalize on this success, which the enemy too has essentially acknowledged. Lots of news from Novomykhailo yesterday. Our forces raised their flag in the area of the southern so-called industrial zone of the settlement. Very fierce battles are going on. The enemy too has admitted this. Well, how can you not acknowledge this defeat? Because the footage of the flag is already there. It's not going anywhere. By this I mean that the enemy acknowledged this fact. It shows that the enemy was not able to push us out of there with counterattacks. So he's slowly backing off here. Very fierce fighting, not only in Novomykhailo itself, but also north and south of Novomykhailo. Very hard battle both for us and for the enemy. And our forces also tried to move forward yesterday too. They've achieved the tactical successes in the area of Georgievka. Well, on the Krasnogorovsk front, it's relatively calm. But obviously, before the next storm, our troops will likely. In the near future, they will repeat their attacks on this city. I very much hope that they will also be successful. Here, let me remind you that a few days ago, we entered a settlement from the south, took a few streets, but the enemy, throwing 2 battalions of the elite brigade and the 3rd separately assault brigade, knocked us out of there. Well, and now we have to start all over again. Although the blow a bit north in the area of Nevelskoye was quite successful, our troops have already reached the edge of that settlement and continue to press here. Against this background, a lull is observed on the Vuhledarsk direction and in the Zaporizhia sector. In other directions to the north, there are also battles of local importance. So far, there are no special changes in the front. The enemy is sometimes trying to improve its positions with counterattacks. Where our troops have wedged their defenses, they are trying to knock us out of convenient positions for future attacks. So, for example, it happened in the area of Tabaivka. They knocked us out of the hill. Well, in principle, the enemy can be understood. They don't want to give us good starting positions.